Yay! Welcome in, everybody. It is the 7th of May today, and it is a bit greyish outside here in the Netherlands. The sun was shining earlier this morning. It is still shining, but clouds are gathering. So I'm kind of hoping that later on... Oh, wait. It might be handy if I go here on camera. Well, let me start again. It is the 7th of May, and here in the Netherlands, it is a bit greyish with sunshine, but clouds are gathering at the moment. Now, I hope that later this afternoon, it will still be sunny outside, because I plan to go for a small walk. We'll see how that goes. For today, I have a different kind of live stream planned. I have to say that I originally did not plan this, but yesterday I found a program in my YouTube feed called Chronicler Pro. And that is a world building tool, not so much a tool that tells you what you need to world build, but instead it is a tool that helps you put all your information from your world building into a handy world building Bible or script or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to take a look at this together with you guys. I have not been into the program yet, so I have no idea how things are going to work. I do know, I've read a bit on the side of Chronicler Pro. I do know that it basically works as a wiki from what I can see. And that helps me because in the past I have worked with wikis. But you have to know a little bit about the details on how wikis work and how they are coded. In the past, how shall I say that? I did work with setting up a wiki and other things, but it was not, how shall I say that? At that time, it took me too much to set it up, especially because I was originally setting it up for a game design document. And a wiki for a game design document at that time, I found, was not an easy thing to have. However, having it as a world building wiki, that might actually be a very good thing. I mean, there are wikis about Game of Thrones, about Lord of the Rings, about all kinds of games where you really dive into the lore of the game and things like that. So that's what piqued my interest. The possibilities you get with this program. And another thing, this is offline. It's not depending on the cloud. So you just install it on your hard drive. You build your wiki on your hard drive. And one of the great benefits compared to, for example, World Anvil or Campfire or any of these other programs, if you don't have access to internet, you can still keep on world building. And that is one major factor for me. Or it was in the past, I should say. I mean, I have stable internet, but if I happen to be somewhere else, say, I don't know, with a friend or in a library, and I, for some reason, can't access the internet, and then I have a problem if I want to work on my wiki, if I want to work on my world building. The same goes for writing. That is why I have an offline writing tool called Scrivener. And in the past, I have talked about having Scrivener and also having all my world building in Scrivener. And I still think Scrivener is a wonderful tool for that. I have everything in one program. I don't, well, mostly everything nowadays, because I also have a on timeline to plan out the timeline of the story and to see how things work, if characters can actually be where they are supposed to be, things like that. And I also have Excel because I needed an overview of all the eras and all the years in the eras, and that was a lot. So Excel was very handy for that. So yes, I do use multiple tools. What I want to look at now is to see if Chronicler Pro can be an interesting, maybe a replacement for the world building in Scrivener. So we'll see about that. The Tiger writes, thank you for coming in. How are you doing? How was your stream? I think you streamed earlier this morning. I wasn't able to catch you because I was a bit busy with other things. But how was it? How was it? And how is your writing going? I'm looking forward to hearing about that. You ask, what's the name of the app? Can you ask that? The name of the app is literally Chronicler. Let me put that in the chat also. That is the name of the app. Have I looked into campfire rights for your world building? In the past, I have looked into Campfire and World Anvil and other programs, but one big downside for me was that they all needed an internet connection. And it was all saved in the cloud and things like that, and I didn't want to do that. And Chronicler is an offline program that works on your hard drive, and you can share it with other people. But in the basis, it's just yours, and no one has access to it. And for my world building, that is very handy. And can I just say you haven't streamed yet? It's starting in about 20 minutes. Oh, then I'm mixed up with other things. You say Campfire Rights now has a standalone app. Okay. Well, maybe that's something to check out in the future as well. For now, let's dive into Chronicler. Let me first give you guys the link to the website. That will be handy. This is a program that has been made by an indie developer, solo indie developer, I should say. So yeah, that's very interesting. And he literally lives on donations. Here we go. That is the link to the site. And at this moment, you don't have to pay for Chronicler. The free version has a lot of features, but the pro version, and I will look at that later this afternoon. The pro version will have additional features, and for the pro version you need to pay, and I will talk about that later on as well. So let's get into Chronicler. Wow. And let's see what it's all about, because like I said, I have no idea. I haven't gone into it yet. So our session of today is a little bit different. Instead of a creative session with writing, we're diving into Chronicler. So this is what you get when you install Chronicler for the first time and you open it up. It says, I'm Michael the developer. Chronicler is a solo project, and knowing roughly how many people are using it helps him justify the time he spends maintaining and improving it. You can choose to send info to help Michael develop things. So a salted one-way hash of your machine ID, not reversible, and the app version of your OS family. So Windows, Linux, Apple, which version of Linux. So yeah. What's not signed, your name, email, vault content. We'll go into that later on what that is. File names, IP address, not stored on the server, no tracking, no profiling, no third parties, etc. Since there is hardly any information sent, I mean, the app version, well, that's something he gets from the program, so that's very easy. Operating system, I mean, Windows 11, there are not that many choices, and that's not personal information that I regard as something that is I don't know the word, but not something that you need to worry about, I think, in my humble opinion. So, sure, come in. Well, let's see what this is. Open a folder, okay. Well, I haven't got anything yet. So what I'm going to do is... So it says here in the top... Oh, you guys can see that. Okay, so yeah. When you click that button, it simply says it selects your Windows Explorer like any other window where you get that you get as a pop-up when you try to open a folder or something, or try to look for an image or whatever file when you are in your browser and you need to open up things. So what I'm going to do is make a specific folder for the wiki. I need to check what the handiest is for me. So give me a moment, guys. So I have made the folder, and okay, so this is what we are presented with: your Chronicler, your digital scriptorium where knowledge links together. So we'll see how things go. It says your vault is empty. There are in the bottom, you can't see everything, but in the bottom it says Chronicler is in active development, supporting its development, and you can also join the Discord to ask questions and share the work. And of course, if you have found a bug or you have a feature request, open up a GitHub issue. So let's see, we can have files, a page or a folder. We can have tags, images, and issues. We don't have issues. Let's see, getting started. Well, I have to be honest, and maybe this is a little feedback for the developer. I know what you're trying to do with the fonts, but this is not always an easy font to read for people. So, I mean, I understand this should say getting, but if you look at it right now, it's you could also think that it's a double C. The same goes here. So I understand it says getting started, but the font is not that handy for that. But I mean that's just a title, and the rest is a normal text. So let's see. Welcome to Chronicler, your digital scriptorium for world building notes and knowledge management. This guide is split into 3 parts. Start with the essentials to learn the basics and get writing in minutes. When you're ready for more power, move on to customization and the advanced guide. Well, let's dive into it. Oh, and of course, looking for inspiration or want to see how others are building their worlds, check out the community blog. It's the perfect place to explore user-generated showcases and download custom templates shared by fellow chroniclers. I assume, since he says download custom templates, I assume that we can make our own templates as well. So that's interesting because I have things, for example, for creatures in my world. I have things for characters in my world. So it would be handy to have a sort of template to be able to use that. I know in a wiki you can do that, and this is essentially working as a wiki. So let's see how that goes. Kindar, you ask, is there an option in the setting to change the font? That's actually a good question. Let's see, settings. There's a theme. Oh, there is. That's an excellent question. I'm choosing Cinzel. I like Cinzel. Let's see how that turns out. Oh, and here we have manage templates, change the vault folder. All right, if you have Google Docs and other parts, you can import that into here. I haven't seen an option to import Scrivener documents, so that might be something for the developer to also look at. Yeah, okay, so I don't have a license yet because Chronicler is at this moment free and the pro license isn't there yet. But yeah, you're free to do that. Okay, so let's get back to help. See, that's much better. That's much better. So, the essentials. Vault and files. Chronicler stores your notes as plain markdown files in a folder on your computer called a vault. You choose where your vault lives. Well, I've just done that. You can create folders and organize your files however you like. That's excellent. I like that. And changes made on your computer are instantly reflected in the app. So that should mean that if I make a folder or a file in Explorer instead of this app, it should be reflected in the app, but that's something I will try out later. Let's first get through these things. Writing in Markdown, if you are familiar with Wikipedia and other wikis, this should be familiar to you, and also you see several of these things in Discord as well. So that's handy. I wonder if I remembered correctly, but it's been quite a while since I have worked with wikis. To have a what they call a what you see is what you get editor. I think Wiki has that, but I'm not 100% sure. So it might be something for people who are not that good with markdowns and things like that. But it might be something that a developer might want to consider. Kinder, you said Scrivener might not be widespread enough for the dev to spend the time on that. Well, I don't know. Scrivener is a very big writing program. I think people who have been participating in the national writing event that is no longer there, they could get Scrivener for half the price or even less when they complete the challenge at the end of November, and that has been there for such a long time. I think Scrivener is one of the biggest writing programs, at least for people who are writing novels. Besides, of course, Word and Google. But for writing novels, and that's my background. There are so many people using it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You could have a point. And can you say, and that's a very important thing, the note for the dev could be to change the default font to something more legible. Indeed, because, well, we both just saw those headings, and it is a nice font, but not handy for people who have trouble reading. And can you say you hope it used shortcuts for those changes because you're not interested in spending time coding? You mean for the markdown? Yeah, that's why I was thinking about those what you see is what you get editors. I know I remember using them on wikis, so I think that it is possible. I know I use it on I've used it on my site as well, my WordPress site, for example. So that's something that the dev might want to consider using, because like you said, you don't want to spend a lot of time coding. You want to spend a lot of time bringing in all that world building information and not worry about the coding. And so that's most certainly something to ask the dev. Let me start taking notes. That might be very handy. And can you say now you have to lurk to prepare for your stream? I wish you a lot of fun with your stream, and thank you so much for coming, and thank you for lurking. I will see you later. And I need to check one thing. Yep, okay. So let me make those notes right now. Before I forget to do that, I mean, in essence, the markdown code is not that complicated, but at the same time, you need to constantly remember what exactly the markdown code is for specific things that you can use. Oh, I just realized that I have not connected my charger. Let me do that before my phone runs out of battery, because that would not be handy. There we go. Yes. Okay, before everything is empty in a minute. And I want to do one more thing that I totally forgot to do. I thought I was all prepared for this live stream, but when you suddenly decide to do something completely different than what you originally planned, yeah, sometimes you need to improvise, shall we say. Okay, I need to do that somewhere else. One moment, everyone. My apologies for the delay. I want to do one thing. I need to check where that is again. There we go. Yep, okay, done. And let's check that everything is still working as it should. Yep. All still working perfectly. Nice, nice. I like that. I like when things are running smoothly, even when the planning isn't exactly what I had in mind originally. Okay, so let's dive further into Chronicler. So I have made that note about considering including a what you see is what you get editor, because I think that will make it easier for people who are not used to coding. Otherwise, you would first, if you don't know anything about coding wikis, then you have to dive into what Markdown code is. And like I said, it's not that complicated, but knowing all of that, then you'd really have to grab a cheat sheet to get all that more Markdown code and to have it with you every time that you want to do this. So yeah, a what you see is what you get editor is something I would certainly I don't know the word. I would ask the editor to include that, the developer, I mean. Okay, linking between pages. So you use page name, create an alias. I assume, and we will see that later on, if you create that link but the page is not there, that it will turn up with a different color like it does in Wikipedia, for example. If someone has included a link but the page doesn't exist, then the text will light up in red instead of the normal black. So it's recognizable that the other page hasn't been made yet. Section header is done with this code. And when you rename a page, all links to it are automatically updated. That is wonderful, because if you decide to rename your town, or you made an error in, say for example, I have the city-state Dragon City, and I write Dragon Cit, and I forget the Y. That would not be handy, because if you start to search for Dragon City, it might not come up properly, especially if you include the Y in your information or in your search bar. So if you can change that and you don't need to do anything after that, you just change one thing and it gets automatically fixed. That's very easy. I like that. Okay, so we can have info boxes. That's also very handy. I like that, to just have a little bit of information on the go. At the top of each page is an info box for at-a-glance details. This is controlled by a block of text at the very top of your file called a YAML front matter. And that is where you can have your page's title, an image, tags, things like that. That is what you often also see in the Wikipedia on the side, for example, with more information. If you look up, for example, for a city or a country, you will have certain information at the side of the text with some basics like the map of the world if it's a country, some demographic information, things like that. So that's what you can think of, or at least that is what I assume. Let me put it that way. And there is an edit info box button in the toolbar at the top of the editor that lets you build the info box in a more graphical way. Okay, we'll see about that later. Organizing with tags and folders. There are two main ways to organize your vault. Either with folders. So you create folders in File Explorer to group related pages like places, characters, history, etc. And tags. You can add a list of tags to the tags field in the info box. Click any tag to see all other pages with that tag. And another tip is pages and folders are ordered alphabetically. If you want to enforce a specific order, you can prefix them with a number. So maybe I'll do that in the future. I'll see about that. I don't know yet. Okay, we can also include images. That is also very handy. You can store your images in any folder within your vault. For example, central image folder or right next to your notes. Chronicler will find them automatically, and you can also refer to images outside your vault by providing the full path. That's easy as well. That's handy. Or by using shortcuts symlinks within the vault. However, this is not recommended as it may slow down your pages. And if you want an image inside the info box, you can display it by adding the image field to the front matter at the top of your file. There's a certain code to add the image to the body of your page. Spoilers for those who use Discord. This may be very recognizable. The text will be blacked out until a reader clicks on it. What I might suggest to the developer, here he has given the code, but he has not shown the result of that code. So let me put that in the notes. And I noticed that earlier on with other things as well, like the info box. It would be helpful if, for example, here with the info box, this is the code you have in the info box. I just told you guys what I assume it will look like a Wikipedia. But I think it would be handy to have the actual info box here, as if only just as an image to show what it looks like. And yeah, the same goes for the other things, especially the spoiler. Here we see what exactly the spoiler is, but have it also as the resulting code. Tables, same thing, and here also tables, in my experience in wikis, can become very complicated. In wikis and in other markdown programs, like when you use PDF creators. I have a program for that. I just don't know what the name is anymore at this moment. But you really need to know the code to make that table. So here again, a what you see is what you get editor would be very helpful for people who don't know the code and for whom it would be too complicated to dive into it. This could be a reason for people not to use Chronicler, exactly because they need to dive into the code to be able to do what they want, to be able to get the information in it. When you have a what you see is what you get editor, then you can just use that editor to make the tables, and you don't need to think about that. So yeah, I think that would be handy for people who are not used to coding, and it would take away a hurdle for them in using Chronicler. So I will add that to the code as well, or to the notes. So you can have other information in the tables as well. But yeah, you need to know a lot of code. Page inserts, that is very handy to have. I mean, I've worked also with Wikipedia or wikis that were related to specific games, and they had templates for that. For example, you can in those wikis you could make your own templates, and that was very handy because you could have a template for an info box and have that imported automatically in pages and things like that. So yeah, that's very handy. You can also set a custom title for the header. Excellent. Page templates. That's what we were talking about earlier. I need to check the new picture. Okay, no, it's good. My apologies. Use templates to create new pages with a predefined structure, saving you time and ensuring consistency across your vault. That is one of the things how shall I say that? I like it about wikis, and I dislike it because you can just start writing, but if you want your pages, for example, about cities or about characters to all look the same, you need to think up front, or rather, it's very handy to think up front how you want your page to look, build that template, and then start creating the pages about your characters or about your cities or about your creatures, etc., etc. So yeah, templates are very handy, but I would say, I mean, this program is free to use. All the basic features are free to use. So if you want to get a feel of the program, don't worry about the templates and just start with adding the pages. And when you get into it, then start with making templates. I say this not because I have experience with Chronicler, because I don't, but I do have experience with wikis and with editing wikis and creating my own wikis. So yeah, that's a thing to think about. Customization, application settings directory. Chronicler stores global settings, themes, and fonts in a dedicated folder on your computer. You can find those here. Maybe I would start with that. but at the same time, this is the basics about the program, about how to use the program. But it's very good that you have this information. So it's not stored in the folder where you just make your vault, because that is essentially your project folder. It's like, at least that's the way I interpret it, you have your project folder and there you store all the information about your project, about your world that you are creating. And you have the settings of your program, like Word. And Word also stores all its basics elsewhere. So yeah, that's good to know. I assume, since he's talking about themes and fonts, that you can also make your own themes, and then you should add them to these folders. Themes switch between building color schemes or create your own with the theme editor. Oh, well, here we have it. Custom fonts, add your own. Okay, so you can add TTF fonts, that's handy. Or OTF fonts if you have those. And WOFF2, never heard of that, but you can add those to the fonts subfolder within the application settings directory. So here's my question. If you have your own font files, they usually are already installed as a font on your computer. I mean, I have downloaded specific fonts that I want to use for specific projects, and I just have that installed in my fonts folder. Windows has a fonts folder. I don't know how that works for Linux or for and all the variations of Linux, or for Mac, but having to install your fonts, I mean, you already have your font installed, so having to place that in that subdirectory seems a bit redundant because it's already installed. So I would assume that Chronicler can use my fonts installation folder because it's there, and get all the fonts from there instead of having to add it to the theme. So that's something I'll ask the dev about as well. Why do we need to specifically add fonts to the theme folder if we already have fonts installed on our computer? Because it also says after a restart they will be available in the theme editor. Themes? I think there's a slight hiccup here. Okay. Text or I have no idea. Okay, so then we have the advanced guide. This section covers powerful features for enhancing your workflow. That's always good. The info box at the top of each page is controlled by a block of text called YAML front banner. Well, that we already knew. He told us about that earlier. You can add any custom fields you want, like population, leader, age, etc. That's what I told you guys earlier about Wikipedia pages, for example. You have that on the side, and that info box on the side is what I assume he means here as well. There are several fields with specific functionality: title, subtitle, info box, tags, image, layout. And I assume that you can add the rest, custom fields. So you already have these fields, and on top of that you can add your own custom fields. You can have carousels of images. That could be fun. That so you don't have to place them under each other, but you can let them run. So that's good. What I wonder about the info box, you can have the carousels, that's specifically for images. Can you also have videos? Because I think that could also be very interesting. Oh, there's my mouse. My cursor. Special syntax. Some values may contain special characters that need to be treated properly. Weaker links, spoilers. There are 2 safe ways to include these without breaking up the metas. Again, here also show what the difference is. Show how it works out if you put in that code. Strength, honor, elf, high elf. Because it doesn't show right now. You just see the code instead of what it looks like in your wiki, and that is what I miss. I mean, I know what it will look like in the wiki, but people who don't have experience with coding won't know what it looks like. They won't know what this does. So yeah, that really needs to be added. For multi-line text or to use special characters, start the line with a pipe symbol, so that's also something you need to keep in mind. You can use markdown text like bold, italic inside field values. Oh, like here with strength and honor, so that has been made italic. Inline images, so you can have the flag, for example. Then we get to HTML, and again, coding. So you need to know HTML to be able to use that. You aren't limited to just plain text and wiki links in your info box fields. You can also combine it with standard HTML. And Chronicler's advanced components like image galleries, custom tables, carousels, so you can do a bit more with your info box. I like that, but again, give an example of what it looks like when you use this code, because this says nothing for people who don't know coding. Info box layout, use the layout key to add headers and group fields into columns for a professional wiki style info box. Yep, that's handy. For example, if you have an info box, if you look at Wikipedia, you have these info boxes on the side, and they often have a blue bar at the top or any other color bar. That has the title of that info box, and then you see all the information beneath that. And that is, at least I assume, what he means with this. And that can be very helpful. Aliasing keys. This is useful for creating the visual effect of duplicate keys, displaying strength for 2 different factions, which isn't possible in standard YAML. Grouping fields into columns. Here we go again. Give an image of what it looks like. I mean, I have an idea of what it looks like, but yeah, this really misses the outcome. So you have the
group. Yeah, you need. So you have the header, and the header is belligerents, and then you get the allies. So the allies are United Kingdom and France. And then you have the group, which is the belligerents allies and belligerents central. Yeah, again, please show the outcome of this code. Clickable images, that's very handy actually. That is also something you can see in Wikipedia. When you click on an image, you will be redirected to another page with more information about that, for example. Clickable icons, badges, etc. Image gallery, create a wiki-style image gallery that arranges themselves into grids. Images in a gallery are uniform in size and look great on any screen. So that is something to keep in mind, because yes, they are uniform in size. It might also result in some of the image falling away, depending on how it's done exactly. Captions is always good to have. That's what you see underneath the images, and that is how it is coded. Then more about the gallery sizes, custom sizes, image carousels, basic slideshows. Yeah, I'm not gonna read it all with you guys because we're missing the outcome. We're missing the information of what it actually looks like when you use this code. You can use the captions, tab navigation. I'm looking forward to see what that exactly does, because I remember back in the day when I coded wikis, tab navigation was not the easiest thing to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is done in Chronicler. Size and alignment. Yeah, that's not always the easiest thing to do. So you might want to play around with that. Same goes for inline images. Advanced tables, here again, you need to know too much code for this. For people who are not used to coding, you need to know too much code for this to know exactly how it works. And to be able to make the table that you want to make. So that what you see is what you get, editor. Yeah, that's for people who don't know how to code, that is essential. Again, standard HTML, that's perfect for people who know how to code. For people who don't know how to code, that doesn't work. Using floating layouts to place tables or images beside your text instead of above or below. Again, show what it looks like. I wonder exactly what he means with that. Right now I can't think of an example to tell you guys about it. Inline styling. That is essentially when you define how a paragraph text should look. Here it says this paragraph will be big and blue. Show that it is big and blue. Show that the outcome of the code. You can also use CSS if you are comfortable with that. Yeah, there are built-in CSS variables, and I assume that you can also have your own things when you create your own themes. Math and latex support. Yes, this is interesting. Latex or KTeX is not the easiest thing. Mathematical equations, you see that on Wikipedia, and these are ways to display that. And you can import Word documents. You can import Google Docs. You need Pandoc to import Word documents. Chronicler, I don't know Pandoc. I have never heard about that program. So yeah. Those are the basics, and we haven't even started creating something. So yeah, I really have a few notes for the developer to make it better accessible for those people who don't know coding, because right now it's too limited for people who don't know coding, and I think that it will hold back people who would like to use a wiki, but who don't know how to code and who don't want to mess up things. So yeah, I will give that feedback. So let's dive into a few things. I'm going to open the script up because I forgot that. And let's see. I'm just gonna do a few basic things. I mean, I have templates and all, but I'm not gonna dive into that right now, I think. Let's just get started. I'm waiting for Scrivener to start up. I always make a backup at the startup of Scrivener. Okay, I am going to take my world building information. What I wonder about, and that's because I just ran past that. Can you? Where's my research? Oh, here. In Scrivener, I have imported PDF documents. I have imported pages from websites, things like that. Documents from others. The one I'm looking right now is, I think, originally from Notion, for example. Let me check. Gilby, welcome in, welcome in. I'm so happy to see you here. My apologies that I missed your arrival. Thank you. Yes, I'm an actual nerd. Yes, I mean, wiki is something I am familiar with, so Chronicler will be not so much of a hurdle for me, but for others, yeah, it might be. But yeah, that's me nerding out. I was looking for this site, because I remember reading that you could import several things. Let me get back to that. Okay, there are built-in importers for Word in Google Docs and MediaWiki Fandom. Those are XML dumps. It also works natively with existing Obsidian vaults. So if you have a project on Obsidian, you can also use that. It does not say anything about Notion. I know people also use Notion, so it doesn't say anything about that. Or PDF and things like that. So that yeah, that's an interesting thing. I will put that in the notes for the developer as well. Importing docs from Notion. PDFs. I mean, we can use HTML. We just saw that. The help pages explicitly state that we can use HTML. I wonder, because it's not set here, can we import HTML pages as well? I assume we can, but I don't know how it works in Chronicler. PDFs and HTML pages. Okay. WC, you'll be right back. You need coffee so you can focus on the nerdiness. Excellent, excellent. Well, in that case, let me know when you're back, because then we will get into creating the vault. As you can see, we can make a page and a folder, so you don't need to go back to Explorer to create it. I have to say, I don't quite know. I mean, I have in Scrivener, for example, in Scrivener, I have basic information, and I have world information, so that is really information that is worldwide, that is about Tergaenae on the whole, that you will find everywhere in Tergaenae. And I have information that is specific for a city, or for a village, or a city-state, or a kingdom, or an empire. And there are things that work for several. For example, for a city-state and an empire, but not for a certain kingdom, more things like that. Or maybe for a certain continent and not for other continents. So, for those things, I can imagine that you use tags, for example. But right now we need to make the choice, am I going to add a folder or a page? Choices, people, choices. Okay, let's see. I mean, I can always remake this. I wanted to check the about page. That's really basic information, and it should be basic information. So that's what I forgot to tell. Version 0.50.0. This is still an alpha version. So there is no full 1 version yet. So it is really still in development. And we'll get into a few other things later on. Because there are features that will come in the future, but we'll talk about that later on. For now, let's see. I am just gonna make a folder. Tergaenae Basics. And just to be on the safe side, I will remove that space. Because at some point, way back when I was still creating wikis, you could get a problem if you did have a space somewhere, and I think that having a space is not necessary in a folder name. So I just use the capitals for Tergaenae and Basics to make the different to make it easy to read that these are actually two words, and just remove that space. So okay, so we have a folder called Tergaenae Basics. We can add a new page, or we can add a new folder. Okay. Sorry, my eye is itching a bit. Actually, I think that is handy. Because this way you can keep it organized. So let's dive into the time basics. So I need another folder because I have several things about time. So time in Tergaenae create. Hi Shannon, thank you so much for making friends with the like button. Oh, I only now noticed that the comments are not on top. Let me do that. Yeah. One moment, guys. My apologies. Okay, let me... Oh, I thought I had that here as well. Did I just... Let me quickly check with you guys. Okay, I'm going back to here for a moment. I need to check which one that is. Okay, it's that one. And I don't have that here, so I'm going to add that. It should be this one. Yes, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to... Perfect. Perfect. And my apologies, guys. And Shannon, you also say, finishing up with hair and makeup and setting up your studio. Excellent, excellent. Are you going to do a live stream as well in about 20 minutes, I think? Which is your usual time to stream? Or are you going to do something else? I'm looking forward to hearing about that. So we made the folder Tergaenae Basics. Very easy. Time in Tergaenae. And now that we have that, I am going to add a page. Shannon, you say you're live streaming in about 20 minutes. Excellent, that's great to hear. That's awesome. So let me grab Scrivener again. And right now, I want to add a page. And let's see. I'm going to call it New Year. And now I'm not removing that space because the page name is what you also see on top. Or at least that's what I'm used to in Wikipedia, in wikis. And since this is essentially a wiki program, we want it to be here, but if I decided to move it elsewhere, if I, for example, made a mistake by saying the time in Tergaenae needed a new page, then I can choose the correct folder here. At least that's what I assume. Do we have a template? No, there are no templates yet. In this case, I'm not going to make a template. And I can't make a template from here. So we can only use a template that already exists, but we can't create a template. So, but we can create a page. Okay, now if we say editor only, then you only have the code. And here you see... okay, so we have some... what you see is what you get. Bold, italic, strike through, header 1, header 2, header 3. Okay, so there is already an info box option. Okay, let me see. So this is... you can have the template for the info box as well. Here you can define how the layout looks. So okay, so there are already some things included. Header, separator, columns. This is specifically for the info box. But I don't see something for the page, for example, for tables, like we talked about earlier, and other things. So yeah, that's really something that could be done better or handier. Let me put it that way. And Gilby, welcome back, as it was foretold in the Ancient Scrolls. Excellent, thank you. And you have returned with coffee. That is great to hear. I am happy. What kind of coffee do you have right now? What's the taste? Is it just plain old coffee, or did you choose a specific taste, a specific blend, or whatever? I don't drink coffee, so I have no idea. But I mean, there are all kinds of tea, and I assume I know there are also all kinds of coffee. Okay, so let's see if I add a line above. Okay, so we get a content table. Okay. Let's do a header. Let's say New Year. Okay, so we get the contents table, and this is the page header. Yeah. The tags, I would have the tags, I think, on the bottom of the page. And these 3 lines are this line here above the tags and under the tags. So we have New Year. Let me grab the text about that. And Gilby, you say you're having
Regular espresso, but you have freshly made banana bread with your American housemate. That your American housemate made. Your American housemate made. Excellent, excellent. That's great to hear. And it's already almost 3 p.m. here. So, what time is it for you right now? Because that sounds like either something you have after dinner. Because you're several hours ahead of me. I know that. Okay, so I have some text. It's almost 11 p.m. Way past dinner time. Okay, I understand. So you're just having some coffee with a little snack. Excellent. That keeps you going. Wonderful. Okay, so for myself in Scrivener, I just made a few notes. Here, let's see what happens when I do this. And here's the thing. This doesn't look like a paragraph. Oh, it didn't need to do that. So I would need a markdown for, because this just looks like a second header to me. It's not, and this is also bigger than it needs to be, so I'm a bit confused. Okay. Oh, that was the wrong one. Let me get back to the markdown information. So we have heading. That we have. Info boxes. What do we need? Because right now this is just, there's no difference. No real big difference between the header and what is supposed to be just a paragraph of text. So, maybe it's no, it's a different font. I don't know. I don't know. You say you're up this late because your sleep patterns have fallen out of whack. Oh, I'm sorry for you. I hope that they will return to normal at some point again, because that would be very handy. Okay, so what I'm going to do... Markdown code... paragraph. The markdown. Because I mean, I don't need another header or something. Okay, I'm gonna use the good old... See, that's better. Oh. Okay. So we have that. And then all of a sudden, this is not a line anymore. Why is that not a line anymore? I'm confused. Okay, now it is a line, so you need a white line to get the lines back. But as you can see, this is gone. So what we had first,
this. We had this, the line, and then the text, this text with these links. And that is gone when you start editing here. Okay, let's see if I do New Year. If I do one New Year. Okay.
Well, I did not expect that.
Yeah, okay, so I did not see that one coming. Okay. Not sure why. I mean, I'm not sure why it is done like this. But okay. Okay. So we have New Year. And then let's see. Years are determined by the lunar calendar. Okay, so, yeah, okay, so now we have a normal paragraph text. Okay. This does not feel quite intuitive to me. I mean, I did not expect that I have to add text under something to have it placed above something. Okay. Okay. And now I want an ordered list. Okay, so that's quite easy. You just enter an asterisk. And now I want an ordered list. And let me get the syntax information because here is a handy markdown guide, by the way, that I literally just found. I will post it in the chat for you guys. Here it is. There you go. I literally just found this. I think it's handy. If you decide to use Chronicler, this can be very handy to have at hand. We can have block quotes, nested block quotes. That's not what I'm looking for. Lists. There we go. Okay, so that should be quite simple. Just something like this. Okay, yeah, so... Okay. So we either have this, and if I now do something else. Okay, and if I want... For example, okay, let me see what this does. Okay, so you need to use the tab to move that and to make it part of, to make it a subpart of the other list. Okay, and now if I say 2 again, something else. You see that it moves back again, like you have a normal ordered list, like it should. Okay. Now I want I mean, this is just testing out right now. This is not going to be my final project. Let me see. Let me put it that way. And let's go to. Okay, we have. How does that look? How do you go home? How do you go to your home page? Because you have these folders, but I can make this easily in Scrivener as well. And I can make it more handily in Scrivener. So where is the home page? Where's the homepage function? Because normally on a Wikipedia, on a wiki, you have a homepage that gives you access to all the information. Let me see if I can find. Oh, I need to do that on the other computer. Then let me give you guys the link. There's a highlight for a moment. This one. Okay, let me see if I can find a good wiki. Wiki. I think this was a good one. It could be that I'm looking for something else, but no, not. I did something wrong. That's not handy. No, that's not what I meant either. No, not the thing. Oh, that's. Okay, let's do that again. Let me see. Yes. Okay. One moment, guys. Oh, this is weird. Nope. Come on, do what I want. Okay. And it's not refreshing. Well, this is not handy because now it's not showing what I want you guys to show.
what's happening? What did I do wrong? Oh, it's okay. It's because some parts of this wiki are what do you call it? Are transparent. Okay. So yeah, Gilby, it's having a conniption. It's because apparently some parts are transparent, and apparently I need to do something in OBS instead of in my browser to show you guys what I wanted to show you. But it's okay. Let me try again. I can do a lot, but not what I want. Okay, let me try a different way. Oh, no, not that one. Window picture. There we go. Well, this is proving to be a challenge. Okay. So this is the Wildpedia. Yes, there we have it. Okay. This is the World of Warcraft wiki. And as you can see, this looks very different from what we see in Chronicler. I'm not finding an option to make a page like this, like the World of Warcraft wiki has. So the way it functions right now gives me the same feeling, but more complicated than it works in, than I can do it in, compared to what I can do in Scrivener. Because I'm just making a folder called Tergaenae Basics. In that folder, I made another folder called Time in Tergaenae, because that is how I have my world building in Scrivener set up. And from there, I make the page New Year. That's all perfect, but I already have that in Scrivener. So at this point, for me, it doesn't add anything. I mean, yes, I can link the things together when I have more pages and stuff like that. But making this page, well, you saw me struggling with it earlier. And there's no home thing. I mean, I have to go all the way back here, and then I come here, but it's not a home page of my project. And I can't seem to find an option to make a home page of my project. So I'm going to go to the settings. Let's see what I can find there. I mean, I can have templates, but I can have that in Scrivener as well. Vault folder. I mean, whichever folder I choose to have my Scrivener project in. Import the files.
at this moment, I can also import PDF documents and HTML documents in Scrivener and read them in Scrivener without having to open another program. I don't see an option for that in all the information that I have read so far. And that's it. That's what I see in the settings. And I don't see anything in the Getting Started guide about a sort of a homepage for my project. I mean, everything is explained about what you can do, how you can make pages and how you can make folders. That's excellent. The code, there's a lot of code in it without showing the actual outcome of what that code would do in your project. So that is what I'm missing. And I'm missing a homepage for my project. And if you look at Wowpedia, for example, I think when you start to make a wiki for your project, you want... let me put it this way. I would want something like World of Warcraft or like Wikipedia. Just wikipedia.com. Let's go there. Let's go English. That's the handiest for now. Something like this. Featured article. I mean, we don't need a featured article or in the news because we don't have that. Did you know, for people, if you work with multiple people in your project, today's featured picture, things like that. But yeah, this is something like this, where you have a featured article, where you can have the factions, a guide, storylines, etc. In this case, I mean, the guides are specifically because it is a game. And there are multiple fandoms. Let me see. If I'm correct, Game of Thrones also has a wiki page here. Let me see. Yeah, Game of Thrones. The Wiki of Westeros. This is the World of Westeros, and if I'm correct, you have both the information about the TV series and the book series. So this is specifically about the TV series, about the cast. You have lots of information in there about the cast, but you could, in your own project, just ignore that this is about a TV series. You can have an overview of your cast members on your main page. That is what I would expect. And have, for example, if you are writing a series, you would have, let's take these episodes and make that a book instead. You could have your first book and your second book in the series, and standalone books, and more things like that. That is what I would want to do on the main page of my project. And from there, branch out and go deeper into my project, into all the world building. Right now, the way Chronicler functions, let me just get Riri out of the way for a moment. The way I see it right now, it's just folders and pages, and that's something I can do in Scrivener as well. So this, yes, I can link it. I know I can do that in Scrivener as well, albeit that it is a bit more complicated to do that in Scrivener, but with a bit more work, you can make a wiki-ish thing of Scrivener as well.
But right now, I'm missing that homepage where I can gather the umbrella things and go deeper from there. Yeah, that's something I'm really missing. With lots of other things that we already got into. So let me see. Okay, let me. We have the continent of Natuan. Oh, no caps. Natuan. Again, it's a folder. This is like we saw earlier. It is alphabetically sorted. So if I want to have this as a second, then I would have to make. Then I would have to say Tergaenae Basics is 0, rename, and Natuan, rename, is 01. And then in Natuan, it is also, again, I assume, let me see, Dragon City is a folder. Oh no, it's a folder in Natuan. Okay, I can drag and drop it, so that's good. Can I? No, I can't move it there. Okay. And we have a new folder. Silk and bamboo, empire. Okay, so these are all. Let me take another one. Devil's Port. Create. The Devil's Port comes before Dragon City. Alphabetically, that is correct. In this case, Devil's Port is part of Dragon City. Dragon City is a city-state, and Devil's Port belongs to the city-state of Dragon City. So I would need to drag it in there. We have silk and bamboo. Let me. I want to see. Okay, I have the continent. And then again, I have to put a 0 in front of it. We have the continent of keychain. And only then will it go there. Now, if I were to say I remove this, then it'd probably still be here. Now, if I rename Natuan, then Natuan will move below keychain. So these are things to keep in mind. If you have that setup like Wowpedia, and let me grab that again for you guys. Like Wowpedia has, or like the World of Westeros has, it gives you more control of how things look in your project. And you don't need to worry about where exactly in your project it is, because you don't need this sidebar. You can have it organized in the way you want, on the main page of your project. So yeah, that is something that I'm really missing here, the main page of the project. I had expected that to be there. An empty page or whatever. Because right now it's not there. And I'm missing that. So I'm gonna add that to the feedback notes as well. Like in Wikipedia, Westeros, wiki, etc. Because I think that would give you more control. Well, not necessarily more control, but more. You're not dependent on an alphabetical order or having to remember or having to check at which number you are with the folders and with the character pages, etc. You can just add things and have it in your in the main page of your wiki organized the way you want to have it organized, instead of only alphabetical this way. Alphabetical and numerical. At this moment, for me, I mean, I don't quite feel that it brings something more than Scrivener brings to me. Yes, I can link them, but I can do that in Scrivener as well. I'd have to dive a little bit deeper into Scrivener. But one of the great things in Scrivener is that you can organize your not only your novel, but you can organize your world building in a way that's much easier. And you can literally move around things the way you want to have them organized. For example, if I were to pick up Natewan and I would place it in Scrivener above keychain, then it would be above keychain. No matter if it is alphabetically not above keychain, but if I choose to do that, then I have it that way in Scrivener. So it's for me it helps making those priorities and making that division that the way I wanted to make. So I'm missing things. I mean, it's on one hand it's good that it has an alphabetical order. At the same time, for my case, I don't need an alphabetical order. I want to order it the way I want to order it. And I'm really missing that homepage. That one page where you can put all the umbrella things together, all the categories that you want, and in the order that you wanted, like I just showed, and then dive deeper into it. Let's see if I make a page, test page 1, and okay, so I need to go here, and you don't see a thing for a link. You see this is for the info box editor. But you don't see any hints for the link, so I mean, it's been a while since I've edited wikis, so I need to check. Yeah, page name. So Devil's Fort is part of page name Dragon City.
So right now it says create Dragon City. I already have a folder called Dragon City. So I want to link to a different page. So right now here it says, here it is in red. Now if I click on that, you can create the page. And in this case I would go to Dragon City. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it creates the page Dragon City. Okay. I don't know. At this moment, I just don't know. I want to be honest about that. So yes, I can link from Devil's Port. I can link to Dragon City. I've just done that here, and then I go to that other page. I mean, that's one of the handy things in wikis. But currently I'm just missing too much. The way it functions right now, for me, it's not a replacement. It's not a viable replacement for Scrivener. For the world building part that I have in Scrivener, for my world building guide. Because I miss too much. I mean, that sidebar, I have that in Scrivener. For that, I don't need this program. And in Scrivener, I can organize that sidebar exactly the way I want to have it organized. I don't have it organized alphabetically because I have it organized by continents and then going down and then going deeper again. So I have a very different organization in Scrivener. I can't do that here. I don't have that that main page that I just showed you of the Europedia and of the Westerosepedia. So again, that's something I really miss. So let's have a look at what the future things hold. Hey Andy, welcome in, welcome in. We are looking at the program called Chronicler. That is at this point still in development, but it's also free to use. And the basics are free to use. And in the future there will be more to come, and then you will have to pay for the pro version. So let's take a look at the pro version. Oh, I will get that up for you guys as well. That's handier to see. There we go. So the pro roadmap, let's look at that. Version 1, it's coming soon. I have talked a little bit about this with the developer, Michael. And the way he explained it to me, you need to pay a one-time fee of $70 for Chronicler Pro. And that, in essence, includes the interactive maps, the timelines, and family trees. And future things that will also be in version 1. If there would be a version 2 in the future, at this moment, the way Michael has decided at this moment, it does that one-time fee of $70 does not include a version 2. So maybe we would need to pay an upgrade fee, or I don't know. I mean, that's in the future. Michael also said that is if if the need arises for a version 2. So right now it is the interactive maps. Drop pins on your world maps and link them directly to your location pages. Timelines add dates to your pages, define custom non-Gregorian calendars, and visualize the history of your world. That is very interesting, actually. I use Aeon Timeline basically for this and to plan out my storyline. To check where my characters are at certain times, and not only my characters but also creatures, items, things like that. Because that's handy to know. I mean, if Naja is supposed to be, I don't know, in Dragon City at a certain amount at a certain time, and she is at the other side of the continent. Yeah, that's going to be hard. So that is why I have Aeon Timeline, to help me visualize that and to help me see where the potential blockades are in my planning. So yeah, that helps. So timelines are helpful. The question is, how flexible are they? Is that purely for the history? Is it really meant as the history, or is it also ongoing? Family trees, that is actually very handy also. What I wonder about is, will that family tree also have the information about adopted kids, for example? Like I have, like Najat, he has been adopted by King Jory in a few years ago. Secret children, bastard children, who are known, but also bastard children or secret children from illicit affairs or whatever, who are not known to the world in general. Can you make them in those family trees as well? Audio embedding sounds interesting. Add sound to your world, embed ambient music or voice notes directly into pages. I like that option, even though I have no idea where to get it all, because I try to get free free sounds. A deep search, advanced querying to find every mention of a character or concept across your entire vault instantly. That sounds good. And advanced databases, turn your vault into a living database, create dynamic tables that automatically pull data from your nodes. I think that can be handy. At this moment, I don't know exactly how I would use that, but Chronicler is not only created for novelists, for story writers, but also for game designers and dungeon masters, but also other game designers. And in that, if I look at it from that perspective, yeah, that can be very handy, because you can have data about items like durability, and think about Wowpedia that we saw earlier. Let me check. I'm just getting a thing. Dungeons. There are dungeons, raids, system and rewards. Okay, let's see. No, that's not what I was. Okay, let me see if I can find. Let's go deeper into the dungeon. Does that have any information about specific rewards? Let's see. Achievements. Yeah, no. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think it's not in here because there is also I think this one. Yeah, this is really
The database should have information, I think. Currencies. Items. Here we go. And let's just get the first one we see. So you see the information, item level, upgrade, and etc. Speed, damage. So for people who are a dungeon master or who are into game design and they use Chronicler, they could use where is it here? They could use such an advanced database for more for items and things like that. That could be very handy. At this moment, I don't quite see a function for me as a novelist, as an author. But yeah, you can definitely use it in game design. So, is this a program for me right now? Right now, it doesn't offer me things that Scrivener doesn't. But for those who use Google Docs or Word or other programs, this might be handy. One of the big advantages is that this isn't limited to the amount of words. It's just limited to the capacity of your hard drive. That's basically it. I know. I mean, I've used Word in the past for keeping all my world building notes and images and such. At some point, Word just can't handle it anymore. Especially if you start adding in images. At some point, just Word will just crash because there's way too much in it. Google Docs only can handle, but that's really when you go into novel writing. It can handle, I think, 1.5 million words out of the top of my head. I'm not exactly sure about that, but somewhere around that. So yeah, that can be handy for people. Dirk, you say you looked into a number of tools a while back. You have not seen this tool. You settled on using Obsidian for several reasons. You're hosting the files on a network drive and you can access the same archive from multiple computers. And you can use the files in the future for a web-hosted wiki. That's excellent. That's excellent. I have looked into Obsidian at some point in the past. I don't remember exactly when. It's been a while. But for me, the number one reason why I don't use tools like Obsidian and World Anvil and Campfire and things like that is that they all need you to be online. And or at least at the time I was looking at that. And I don't want that. I want something that I have on my hard drive and that I can make a backup of everywhere I want, anywhere I want. But I'm not dependent on those programs. I don't have to worry about what they do with my data. I remember that there was a program, I don't remember the program, the name of the program, but there was a program where, in essence, in the beginning, unless you had a paid account, all your information was available to everyone. Now, if I want to keep information from my audience because it would spoil things, that wouldn't work. So yeah, that's that would be an issue. And then I would have to pay to make it a private thing. And I was like, no, that's not how it works. And Dirk, you say your Obsidian is on your local network drive, not online. Oh, that's good. That's good. I didn't know Obsidian did that nowadays. You don't like to share your info. Exactly. Exactly. That's my issue as well. I mean, in my world building guide, I have everything that I need. I have my characters in there. I have all the information about the cities, etc. But also the information that my characters can't know. Maybe not ever, maybe not yet. But also information that my future readers can't know yet, because it would spoil them. I have that information in there because I need that information and I need to be able to check it. But I don't want to share that with everyone. And that's a serious thing. That's a serious. That was one of the reasons I did not use certain programs. And again, and nowadays with all the AI, I'd rather keep my stuff, my world building stuff, my everything offline as much as possible. I share what I want to share in my videos, in my live streams, but all the rest I don't want to share, and I want to keep it private. I want to keep it offline. Until the moment that I am ready to share that. And I mean, like, World Anvil is built to share it with other dungeon masters, to share it with other players of Dungeons and Dragons and things and games like that. It is a very good tool. There are other tools similar to that are very good, but they are not what I'm looking for. I have used wikis. At some point, I stopped using the wiki back when I was setting it up for a game design. If I compare Chronicler with just a wiki setup that I can download from MediaWiki.org. And I just install that on my hard drive. I can install it anywhere I want, and I can just start using it. And with the basics that Chronicler can do right now, I can do that with any wiki. I can install the wiki software on my hard drive, and I can do that, and I can do more, because I can have that home page, like I just showed you guys. I can make it more accessible for myself the way I want to have it. So at this moment, for my use, and I want to emphasize that, for my use, for my needs, at this moment, Chronicler is not the program I would use, because I can do more in Scrivener. I could do more in Media if I just install the MediaWiki software. And I think Chronicler has potential, most certainly, especially if you have those interactive maps, those timelines, the family trees. That deep storage, I mean, it sounds good, but at the same time, I think if you just install a wiki, of course you have to have the knowledge of installing that. There are a few things that come with it that you need to install, etc. So you have to have the knowledge of how the MediaWiki software works, what you need additionally to install it on your hard drive, and then you can work. You can install it and work with it. I don't exactly know what that advanced querying is, or rather how different it is from a normal MediaWiki installation. Audio embedding, great. Would I use it? I don't know, to be honest. Again, for gamers, dungeon masters, game designers, I think it can be very, very fun to use and maybe also helpful. Would I use it for my projects, for my writing projects? So not my game design projects that are currently in the freezer. But for my writing project, would I use audio embedding? I don't necessarily think so. That advanced database, would I use that? Probably not. I don't think I would use that. Because I would have set up my wiki already to have all that information. To have it like the Wowpedia. And then I have those info boxes that have all the detailed information that I need about creatures, about plants, about medicine, about items, things like that. Would I need an advanced database to have that and to be able to find that information? I don't know. It maybe. I don't know. I mean, right now I don't use any databases and I can still find everything I need. So is this something I would use right now? No. Because for me it is too limiting. Would I advise this to others? Yeah. Yes and no. If you know coding, and if you don't mind diving into coding, this can be very helpful. Especially if you are still using just one really big Word document. This can help you organize things a little bit better, a little bit handier. But you have to know the coding, because the what you see, what you get editor that is included is very limited, like you just saw. I will show it again. Oh, my mouse is not cooperating. Here we go. There's bold, italic, strike through, header 1, header 2, header 3, and that's it. That's it for the what you see, what you get editor. There's no thing for tables, and tables in wikis are really complicated. Or can be really complicated, let me put it that way. If you just miss one thing, your whole table is screwed up. And believe me, I know, I've been there. Adding an image can also be done through a what you see, what you get editor. Let me see. Let me see if I can. There's a very old one still alive. I don't know. I played this game a very long time ago. Let's just look for it. Oh, it's for double P. Okay. Let me. Right. I am not logged in. I don't even know. See, this is also an example. You have the essential information here, and you can do that in your own wiki. And this, the navigation, you can organize this the way you want it organized. Other links, same. Tools, same. You can organize it the way you want, instead of only alphabetical like Chronicler currently has. Or seems to have. Let me put it that way. Because right now, if you look at this sidebar, there's the folders or the files, there's the tags, images, and issues that you may have. But I don't see an option
to have that navigation system like we have here. The navigation, the main page, policies, styles, etc. Current. Here you see style guide, current events, random page. This is what you put in there in that navigation box. So yes, we have info boxes in Chronicler, or we can make them. Let me put it that way. Here we have those tables. If you just forget or add one thing, then you have a problem. Templates, customization, and then we go into the advanced guide. I'm looking for the navigation. I thought there was something. Images. Yeah, tab navigation. But that is specifically for images. And that is not for the navigation. This is all images, advanced tables. I mean that it's great that you can have advanced tables, but if you have to pay attention constantly, then you're coding more than what you're writing. Especially if you don't know coding and you have to dive into that before you can really start building your world building guide. That takes too long. No, I don't see anything about a navigation that you can set up yourself. And I want to have control over my navigation. Like I said earlier, I want to have the option to move things around the way I want to. Like that navigation here, like the other links, search, tools, and what I was looking for, but I can't. Can I still log in? No. No, because that's okay, so I can't get into that anymore. I mean, that was literally the only thing I remember. Okay, let me see. Oh, wait. Maybe I'm trying this off for one moment. Okay, let me see if I can get in. Problems with some of my input. Okay. Let's get another one. Oh, wait. Okay. Incorrect username. I think I've been away too long and I can't get in anymore. No. I can't get into Wikipedia anymore. Too bad. But okay, let me see. Search. See, this is one that I made myself. Here's that info box part that we talked about earlier, with current rank, flag title, etc. This is where I played back in the days. I could. Oh, they removed all the. Okay. Things like these. These are all. It's fun to include those. And that was just for the game.
So yeah.
Oh, my apologies, Dirk. Your Obsidian Vault is more than 400 pages right now. It's a lot of info. Yeah, I can imagine that. And that's what you like about Obsidian. It's all marked down in the docs. Yeah, but it's I mean, Markdown is very, very handy, but unless you know the code, you need a what you see is what you get editor. And that is not what Chronicler currently has. So yeah, for me, it's really I'm not exactly sure of the advantages for me, because I also know coding. So I know how to install a MediaWiki with the things that need to be installed additionally. I know coding, so I know I can use that Markdown without big problems. I mean, I will have to look up the coding again, because it's been quite a while since I did that. But I have edited wikis, as you can see on this page. This is one that I made. I've made other things as well. This is one that I made as well. This was about my crew that I did myself. That I made myself, I should say. And you have here the talk. And we had other things. I could have extra things here. Things like this you can also add, but this is done through certain coding. I can't show you guys that right now because I can't get in anymore. Oh wait, here we go. See, this is the coding that you need. Brilliant. Let's show you. Here's the code for the table for the ships. So you really need to pay attention to what you do, and you can do a lot with it. I mean, this is the background color, border color, things like that. So you can really do a lot with it. But you have to know exactly what you do, or you will screw it up. So yeah, that's one of the things. And I like I said, I know coding. I know this coding, and it wouldn't be too much of a problem for me to do this, to set this up in Chronicler as well. But what you see, what you get editor is way simpler than that. Let me see. Yeah, I can view the source, but I can't show you guys because I know Wikipedia had a what you see is what you get editor, and I know Wowpedia. I don't have an account there anymore. Wowpedia also had that. That makes it a lot easier, and especially for people who don't know how to code. And like I said, I want if I'm making a wiki, I want to make it look like a wiki, and I want to make it function like a wiki, and I would expect to have things like this on my main page of my project. So I want to have the continents overview, and then have things there that are important. And in this case, you go to gameplay, and you have the subcategories. You go to puzzles, and you have the subcategories. And that is what I'm missing in Chronicler. This is the way I see it right now, for starters, I don't have that homepage. I don't have this. And when I go to gameplay, I get all these pages. I get this complete overview. I don't. I mean, you have the folders and you have the pages. If I go to NATO one, I mean I can click on NATO one, but it only functions in the sidebar. It doesn't give me this category overview. If I go to Dragon City, same thing. I have the folder Devil's Port, and in Devil's Port I have the test page. But if I click on Devil's Port, that page does not show up on the right hand side. So it's I mean Dragon City, yes, but that is because I selected the page. If I select the test page, you have the editor and the preview, but not. It's not what I expect. If I click on Devil's Port, I would expect to get the link to the test page. If I click on Dragon City, I would expect to get Devil's Port and Dragon City. Like we have here, I click on gameplay and I get the subcategories with the categories, but I also get all the pages in gameplay. So for me personally, this does not currently feel like a wiki. Far from it. This is just organization of folders and pages in the sidebar. And it's alphabetical order. And it's not an order I would use. And that is, for me, the reason not to use it yet. Because it has too many limitations. This is not a wiki. This is another way of presenting folders and pages, but it's not a wiki. It functions somewhat as a wiki because we have a Devil's Port is part of Dragon City, and I click on Dragon City and I get the page for Dragon City. In that way, yes, it links. I can add tags, but in the end, that essentially doesn't matter because I can't do anything further with it. When I go to Tergaenae Basics, I still need to go to the sidebar. If I want more information, if I want the New Year page, I don't get a page of time in Tergaenae where I would have an overview of New Year, of month calculations and more things like that. More pages like that. No, I get nothing. It just folds out and there's nothing I can do with it. It's not a category. I don't know. So it's somewhere between a wiki and an explorer for my feeling. The way I feel about it. And it doesn't give me anything extra compared to Scrivener. For me, it's limiting compared to Scrivener and compared to a full wiki, to a full wiki installation. If I install MediaWiki with the database, the program that I also need to install, if I install that, I can do much more. And maybe my expectations at this moment were too high for Chronicler, but this, for me, doesn't function as a wiki yet. It just has some functions, but And yes, you can really dive into it and make those info boxes, etc., and make those templates. But still, if I go to the sidebar, I can get to all the information. And in Scrivener, I have more control. If I click on a folder in Scrivener, I get a complete overview of all the pages and images that are in that folder. And the folder can be in a folder and it will be shown. So, yeah, not quite. It is an interesting start. And I think that if Michael really builds it out as a true wiki, as a wiki should look and function deep down, then I think it can be awesome. But I think that currently we are missing too much. That is just my humble opinion, based on my experiences with creating wikis and maintaining wikis. And that's, I mean, it has potential, but right now it's something in between of a wiki and Explorer, Windows Explorer, File Explorer, and it needs to be more than that. Especially if I were to pay $70 for a pro version. I mean, don't get me wrong, the interactive maps and the timelines and the family trees, those are very, very interesting. But first I need a wiki that properly functions as a wiki, that has that overview on the main page, like we have with Wikipedia, like we have with Wowpedia. This, I want to be able to do this, and I can't. At least not from what I can find right now on information. I want to make that navigation. If you go to Wikipedia, okay, let me see Yeah, Wikipedia does not have the information. Oh, yeah. Move to the sidebar. There we have it. As you can see, main page, contents, current events, random article, about Wikipedia, contribute. That's the navigation part. And I'm missing being able to create my own navigation part. I don't want it to be alphabetical, because I don't need it to be alphabetical. I want to order it the way I want to order it. So yeah, like I said, to me, this currently, and mind you, this is an alpha version. This is version 0.5. So this is truly an alpha version. It is not complete in any way. So keep that in mind. But the way it currently works for me, it doesn't really work for me. It is. Maybe I expected too much. I'll be honest about that. Maybe I just simply expected too much. I mean, that's very well possible. But right now, it just, yeah, it's not what I expected. Thank you, Dirk, for dropping in and giving your experiences. I wish you a wonderful breakfast, and I hope to see you soon again, either in the Discord or in the live streams. I was happy to see you here, join here. So I have feedback for Michael, the developer. I know people are very enthusiastic about this project, and I think it can be taken to a level where it is truly beneficial for both authors and game designers. But it, for me, to go and use it, it needs to be much more than it is currently. It needs to, how should I say that? If you look at it, the features, offline first and private, yes, that, oh, let me grab it back for you guys. Yes, that is very important to me. So yes, it answers to that. Do I have that elsewhere? Yes, I have that in Scrivener as well. Cross-platform, I don't need it to be cross-platform because I am a Windows user, so I don't need it to be on macOS or Linux. But I do realize there are lots of people who use other platforms. Powerful linking. Yes, that is very interesting, and that is what I showed you guys earlier. Can I do that in Scrivener? I would need to go through some hoops, but I can make it work in Scrivener. Yes. It is a little bit more complicated, but I can make it work. Info boxes. That is something you can't do in the same way in Scrivener. Templates, yes, you can easily set up templates yourself and use them. Level split screen editor. Well, that is what you saw me do. Have the editor or have the preview of the page. I mean, in Scrivener, it is simply what you see is what you get. So what you type in is how the page will look. Tag your world. Yes, it can work. It can be very useful. Customizable themes, that is not something I normally worry about, but I know there are a lot of people who like that. Spoilers and secrets, that is specifically if you want to share your project with others. I mean, for myself, I don't need to use that. I haven't seen that backlinks panel. So let me check if I can find it. First, one moment, because I need to have a little bathroom break. So I will be right back. Give me a few minutes.
And here I am again. Thank you for the wait. Thank you for waiting. Where were we? Yeah, spoilers and secrets, that's not something I use. I mean, it's a project for myself. I don't need to have that. Discover backlinks. Okay, so let me see backlinks. See what links where. The backlinks panel shows you every page that links to your current node, so you never lose track of connections. Right now, I am at the New Year page. Oh wait, that's not handy. Okay, so it should link in Dragon City. I should. Oh, that's this one. Okay. So yeah, there's the backlink, and that is comparable to. Okay, let me grab gameplay, and then let me get that one again. So we're back on the YPPedia. Let's go to gameplay, and then we have here what links here. So that's that backlinks panel. Page inserts, embed the content of one page directly into another. Keep your notes consistent by inserting reusable details, navigation box. So the navigation boxes are in the pages, but not in your sidebar, and you can't control your sidebar. Besides, either it's alphabetically, or you put a number before the folder or page name, and that way organize things. Stat blocks, etc., wherever they need it. So that's on a page. Templates. Okay, so page inserts. Yeah, that's something I can't have in Scrivener because I was making that a comparison. Discover the backlinks. Yeah, I can't make that in Scrivener. As far as I know, anyway. Templates, that's not something that is an addition for me because I can easily make templates in Scrivener and reuse them all the time. The diagnostics, yeah, keep your world healthy, view auto-generated reports to find broken links and other issues with interactive tools to help you quickly fix them. I don't know where I would find these auto-generated reports. Let me see. And maybe you guys see something. Let me see if I can find something somewhere because I have no idea. Let me see if the guide has something about these reports. Info boxes, organization with tags and folders, images, info boxes, blah blah blah, spoilers, tables. So far, I'm not seeing anything. The advanced guides, mastering info box. Like I said, you need to know, you need to really dive into the coding to make it really work. I'm not seeing anything about these auto-generated reports. I have no idea where I would be able to find them. They should be in here, but I don't know where.
templates, folds, importer, open log directory. What is that? So this tells me nothing. I seriously hope that that's not a generated report, because this tells me absolutely nothing. All kinds of things about telemetry. Okay. Get all the broken links, info, get all the broken links. So, okay, that log report does have some things, but not quite readable. But I don't see... No, I have to go back. Yeah, here we go. I don't see anything about generated reports
And where to get them.
I have no idea. I really don't. Or it would be in issues, but there are no issues found. Broken links and other issues. And interactive tools to help you quickly fix them. Okay, so let's say I am going to remove... How do I remove this? Okay, delete. Let's delete that one. So we have... And again, the editor disappears. We have a broken link here. Dragon City. The page isn't there. So this should show up. Okay. And then it shows that it's here. Report broken links, okay. And other issues with interactive tools to help you quickly fix them. I assume... Okay, so this is create a page. Okay. Create a page, Dragon City. Okay, so... But then we have again... This stays open. But yeah, it's not quite... It's not quite intuitive as I would hope it... As I would have hoped it would be. And especially for people who don't know coding, who don't know how Wikipedia, how wikis work in the background. This is too complicated. You really first need to dive into all the coding. You really need that guide, and you need more than only that guide. To get to know more about the markdown syntaxes, to get to know how to learn how you can use it all. So that's too complicated for people who don't know markdown code and who don't know coding at all. This program at this stage is too complicated. And it's basically the way I feel it right now. Let me emphasize that. This is not meant as and I do hope if Michael ever sees this, that he doesn't feel like this is an attack on him or an attack on his program. I feel that Chronicler can become in future a very nice product, a very nice program. But the way it is right now, for me, it feels too much of something that's between a wiki and a little bit more advanced Explorer, Windows Explorer, File Explorer. And that's not enough. What I can do with Scrivener is much more than what I can currently do with Chronicler. It doesn't feel like a wiki to me. And that's too bad, because
I think that when this is brought to a true wiki level, it has the potential to become that, but it's not there yet. It needs more. It needs that navigation box that you can just do yourself, that you can have in the sidebar. I mean, that alphabetical order, that's nice, but that's not working. That's not how a wiki works. I want that main page that is right now, it says Chronicler and your digital scriptorium. That's nice, but I want my project there. I don't want my project to be in the sidebar. I want my project to be the main feature. And right now, to me, my project in this program doesn't feel like the main feature. It's in the sidebar, and I can't organize it really the way I want to. I feel that in Scrivener I can organize it far better to fit my needs. Let me emphasize that again. I'm looking at it through the glasses of what I need and what I currently have in Scrivener, and I'm comparing it with that, and I'm comparing it with wikis that I have set up in the past and wikis I have contributed to in the past, like you've seen earlier. I'm comparing it with that, and I feel a wiki can be a very powerful tool, also for an author. But Chronicler isn't there yet. Right now, for me, and maybe that's because I'm already so deep into Scrivener, and I have experience with setting up and maintaining and contributing to wikis, that I know how the backside of the wikis work, and of databases and database programs. I know how it works. And maybe that is why I feel that right now Chronicler isn't there yet. It's not, for me, it doesn't function as a wiki yet. There needs to be done a lot more to have it truly function as a wiki. But yeah, I do think it has a lot of potential. If and when Michael, for those who don't know, Michael is the developer. When Michael includes more of what a wiki really is, and I really hope that he does that we will see more growth in the future, and that Chronicler will really start to function as a wiki deeper than it does right now. I really hope that. I will keep an eye on Chronicler to see how it develops and to keep you guys posted about it. But right now, for me, no, it's not. It's far from a replacement for Scrivener, for the world building guide. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, to make it the way I would want is basically, I would basically need to install the media install the media wiki software and the database software, and then I can do more than what I can currently do with Chronicler. But that is also, and I do realize that, that is also because I know how it works, and I know how to install that, and I know how to make these things talk with one another. And I know how to install plugins for a media wiki and to make it more than what the base installation is. I've done that in the past with personal wikis, and I have contributed to other things. So with that experience, that is why I currently say no. Chronicler is not there yet. But I do believe that if Michael keeps on going, and if he keeps on adding more, and not only the things that we talked that we saw for the pro version, but really the basics of a wiki, then I think it can be really awesome. But for me to replace the world building guide I have in Scrivener with a world building guide I would make in Chronicler, it would have to function like, basically like I can do in fandom, like the Wikipedia wiki and the Wikipedia of Puzzle Pirates, for example. I would need that. I want to have my project front and center instead of that Chronicles, where I can't add anything. I can't make that homepage for my project. While I would love to have that, I can't make it. So yeah, there's that. So Michael, if you ever see this, I really encourage you to keep on going, to keep building Chronicler to what I believe it can be. Because I think it has a lot of potential, but it's just not quite there yet, and I'm missing too much right now. So yeah, that's my 2.5 hours, no, 3 hours right now. Oh wow, damn, that explains a hell of a lot. My 3 hours dive into Chronicler. For those who have been watching and who have joined in the chat, I hope you guys liked it. And for those watching afterwards, let me know in the comments what you think of Chronicler, what your experiences are, and would you use it? Do you use it for your author project or for your gaming projects? And let me know how that goes. I am definitely keeping an eye on this program, on the development, because, like I said, I think it has potential. But yeah, it still needs some work. But again, you know, this is the alpha version. This is version 0.5 that I downloaded. So keep that in mind. This is still an alpha version. This is not a full version yet. Far from it. Or far from it. I mean, 0.5 that is suggests that there are still steps to take to get to 1.0. So, like I said, I think it has potential, and I'm keeping an eye on it to see how it develops. And yeah, I truly hope that it becomes a true wiki program, that it becomes an awesome program where you can have the wiki of your world, or worlds, wikis of your worlds, and have fun with it, and make it an amazing work that you can make, an amazing project that you can work with in your author projects and in your game projects. So for me, this is it. I wish you all a wonderful what is it today? Thursday? Yeah, I think it's Thursday. I wish you all a wonderful Thursday filled with magic and creativity. And I hope to see you in the next one, Monday. Bye-bye. Oh.